So today's episode is going to bring together multiple topics and themes that we've been talking about recently. So those of you who, I got some really lovely feedback from last week's Podlet on the fitness analogy. Those of you who've been following the Podlets and you came to the last masterclass, today's episode is going to bring together things we've been talking about, and it's going to land for you in a different way and a really beautiful way today. Going to be making what seems non-tangible more tangible for you. And if you didn't come to the masterclass and this is the first Podlet you're listening to, don't worry, because this episode in and of itself alone is going to really serve you to understand quantum leaps, to understand growth, and to understand massive shifts. So welcome to this week's episode of your Power Packed Podlets. My name is Rachel, and I'm your host for these mini magical journeys together. Let's dive straight into today's topic, because what we're talking about today is quantum leaping in your results, quantum leaping forwards in your confidence in yourself, in your leadership in business, in how quickly your business is growing and how safe it feels to hold that growth and to manage and to lead a business of a whole new level and caliber than the one that you're running now and building now. And we're going to again dive into a fitness analogy. So in the masterclass, we talked about quantum leaps, and this is going to be another take on it. So if you listen to last week's episode, I talked about comparing going on a diet to learning to want to eat healthily and to enjoy eating healthily. And a huge part of this is the process of delayed gratification versus instant gratification. So this was something when I worked in the fitness and well-being industry, this is something that I talked with my clients about a lot, and I really anchored in for them, because I would have people coming to me who believed that they hated fitness and they hated eating healthily. Some of them would have food addictions. And so going on a diet was, or eating healthily was painful, and it was like suffering for them because they were forcing themselves to do something they feel that they should do, or they felt that they should do, versus desiring to do it. And so the work there was teaching them to desire to do the things, to want it, to identify as being somebody who did. Delayed gratification is a huge part of that. And when it comes to your quantum leaps in your business, I'd like you to imagine that you wake up tomorrow morning and you've suddenly made 10 times the amount you usually make in one sale. So whatever is a big sell for you now, I'd like you to imagine that you wake up tomorrow morning and you've suddenly made 10 times the amount in one sale. Now, I would like you to imagine that you then wake up the next morning and the next morning and the next morning and the next morning and the next morning, and it's exactly the same thing is happening. Now I'd like you to consider, do you currently have the systems in place, the level of leadership, the level of nervous system capacity to hold the business that is making that much? So I'd like you to think about what is required for you to be making that amount extra. Is it because you've got more clients coming in? Is it because you've got clients who are paying more that are coming in? Is it because you are selling more of a product? Is it because you're working with bigger companies? What is it that is allowing that extra to come in for you? Now, do you currently, where you're at right now with your confidence, with your leadership, with your identity, with your knowledge around strategies and decision making, do you currently feel yourself capable to be able to hold what is required of you with that 10x amount coming in? And this is the thing, I'd let you to imagine it, the difference. When I was working with these clients with their fitness and well-being, it would be a gradual process of teaching them to fall in love, to identify as being a fit person. And so they would come to a session and I would anchor in what they would feel the next morning. I would put in these little suggestive ideas. And I'd say to them as I was inviting them to do an extra couple of reps, or they were saying, oh, do we have to do another round? I would suggest to them, I'd like you tomorrow morning to wake up and remember that you just did this extra round. You may be a little bit stiff. I'd like you to enjoy that feeling of stiffness because you know that your body is progressing. I'd like you to feel the discomfort and acknowledge that that's through your effort and through the pride that you get to feel in who you are and the actions you're taking. And so what we would do is this gradual reinforcement of the desire and the identity. It's not that from one day to the next they would suddenly wake up and boom, they're identified as being this healthy, fit person who wants to do all of the things. Just as lifting weights, you're gradually building it up. It's this gradual expanding into an identity. Now I'd like you to imagine somebody going on a crash diet because they want to get results fast, like really, really fast. I want to lose all of the weight. I've got a wedding to go to. I've got to fit into that dress. Are they going to sustain the results afterwards? Are they likely to sustain those results long term? And the reason is that the majority of the times it's a no, is because they haven't shifted the way they think and feel about themselves, about their bodies, about their habits, about food. They still have the same automated responses ingrained within them. That's not changed. They've not changed the way that they think. They've not changed the way that they feel. If there are programs within them that cause them to emotionally eat or to control food intake to create a feeling of safety, our relationship with food and our bodies, they have different levels of complexity. When we can really look at them directly, we can see the root cause. It's exactly the same in business. What is the difference between getting a crash result, suddenly 10xing your income, and waking up in the morning and you've got this huge sale come in? Great. If you've employed a strategy to do that, fantastic. Is it repeatable? Are you somebody who can hold it? Are you somebody who identifies as a person who can sustain that? Or do you continue to have the same automated thoughts and nervous system responses of the version of you who makes less? And if that's the case, it can feel like a lot to hold and sustain, just like somebody who crashed diets. What are they going to do? Reduce their calorie intake for the rest of their lives? That sounds like suffering. And there is a point where willpower ceases to function and the person will go back to their normal way of eating because they've not ingrained in their way of thinking and being what it is to be a fit person who loves eating healthy food and has healed their relationship with food in their bodies. Exactly the same with your business. Think about the thoughts and the feelings around money that you have, around charging people more, around selling, around running a business, around leading at another level? Do you have beliefs around a lack of freedom? This is one I used to have. I used to believe that by having more responsibility, I would be losing my freedom. And since freedom for me is so important, as somebody who lived as a semi-nomad for a big chunk of my life, freedom is something that lights me up. It's aliveness. And so I believed I would lose some of my aliveness. And why would I want to do that? And so it required that I look at the beliefs and the automated nervous system responses around responsibility, around holding more at another level, and the identity of the leader, the woman leader that I chose to become, so that it didn't feel heavy, it felt expansive. So when we're looking at quantum leaps, think of somebody who maybe quantum leaps in their fitness. There will be things that are happening underneath the surface before that becomes real and long lasting. So when you are setting yourself up for different results, the question is, who do you have to become for that to make logical sense for you to have and to hold. What systems are required that you put in place so it is easy for you to receive and hold those things? And what are the spaces that stretch you into the becoming? And I'm going to leave you with this thought, because so many of my clients, when I was working in fitness, they would know exactly what they needed to do in a session, and they would pay me for me to lead them through what they knew how to do. At the beginning, it was the learning part. It was the teaching them the correct form. It was the mindset side of things. It was the identity. It was the beliefs. Yes. And then it was the accountability. So what are the spaces that you are choosing to get into, just like having a personal trainer or going to a fitness class, going to a spin class? Do you train as hard when you do spin on your own as when you're in a class? And if you don't like spin, think of something that you enjoy. Dance classes, singing classes, choir. If you were a singer, would you train at the same level alone as you would in a group? And so make sure you get into spaces where, because of the energy of the room, you desire other people show you what's possible so you can see what you're stretching into. I'm going to share one last thing with you. As this morning, I came across a couple of yoga profiles of studios in a city close to mine. And it's a style of yoga that's my favorite style. It's the strong, dynamic style where you're learning to do arm balances and all sorts of fun things. My inner child, she lit up seeing that. And it made me think, I've been doing my own practice for so long now without going to a classroom. I realized, wow, there's a level at which I haven't been stretching myself of doing new things and trying new things because I've not been in the group space. I'm doing what I know how to do. This is even as a yoga teacher. I know that by going to that class, it will take me to a level I could not do on my own. Even after 23 years of studying and practicing yoga. So it doesn't matter how much experience you have, how much wisdom you have, make sure you're in spaces that support and uplift you, that hold you accountable, that motivate you, and that you're surrounded by other people doing incredible things so they can inspire you with ideas and create a desire and an activation in you to calibrate up to that.